no damage nil, gawk a gusag, gamal samag. Chizagam nil, chill, kchi, but the wizard winnowuk, Wolastoq Gawick. The west of where you'd, oh, the wheat does a wee you'd, west, beach I would go to, Dibbenig you'd, Wolastoq Gawick, we have two bag up, Nola Mill. Measure there, Tpelt Manen you'd talk make, Made, Gen Zosuwag, Gizi, Milanoman, Milano Wiyanan. Talk me woman. Well, they give me quid, Skidino, what the way wagon, Naga, Lagado Wagano, Ibajo, Golwood, Guloza Wagano. The west of where Canal, see that way you sees it, the Maswood, Zipsig, Juju Jesus, Samagwano, Nadabsde, Wolastoq. Well, I'm a wag in the yurt, middle age. Now I'll translate. I welcome you to the homeland of the Wolastoq and Maliseet people. My traditional name is Morning Star Burning, and I represent the clan totems of the Crow and the Wolf. I am the Grand Chief of the Wolastoq Grand Council. This place we are today is called Mena West. Mena refers to gentle and slow flowing of the river, and Quest refers to the entering of a large opening to the ocean. My people lived here by the ocean and upriver since the beginning of time. We still own our homeland, and our ancestors never surrendered any piece of the land. Our language is important as well as our treaties. I speak on behalf of the animals, fish, birds, insects, waterways, and all of the Maliseet territory, and all of the extended families that we represent. This is the truth, let it be so. I have brought with me here today how our ancestors once connected with the first colonizers here. And we used wampum through treaties. And I brought 3 wampum belts with me, and later on I will speak on one of them. And also I brought our Wolastoq nation flag, and our grandmother will hold up the flag while I describe the flag. The Wolastoq woman and man canoeing are following our totem, muskrat. Muskrat provides our people with food, fur, and guides us to medicine. The woman, man, muskrat, canoe are in red. Signifies our relationship to Mother Earth and all our ancestors. The yellow sun represents our eldest grandfather, who rises in the east and reminds us of our connection to the Wabanagi, people of the dawn. The blue signifies water, giver and provider of all life, and the green indicates all vegetation in the plant world. The red on the bottom is our ancestors, who are the roots and that keep our nation grounded and reminds us of our responsibility to protect our homeland, Wolastoq. I'm here today as Grand Chief of the Wolastoq Grand Council, and our people have deep, deep concerns about the condition of our homeland. Today, it's been and I hate to use the harsh words of raped, but it's been raped, it's been clear-cut, it's been sprayed, it's been dammed without our permission. And through our peace and friendship treaties with the past colonial governments, our lifelong chiefs that signed those treaties, put their marks on those documents, never surrendered a piece of land. And here we are today, facing another devastation, a proposed devastation that's going to cross our sacred waters. And we look at our waters and our earth as sacred. I'm not sure if you can process that, but when we do ceremonies, we go out into our woods, we fast, we sacrifice ourselves, and we thank all life. When we do ceremony, we thank all living things. We start with the center of the earth, the core of Mother Earth, where that fire is. Eventually, we thank all the levels going up, all the aquifers that give us the pure water, the life, all the insects, and all the animals who live in the ground. We thank them for their life. And at the surface, we thank all the living things that live from the surface up. The trees, the plants, the food, the medicines, the animals, the birds, all of life form. That connects us all to life. We don't separate ourselves from the insects. We don't separate ourselves from all the vegetation. We are part of them. And when we look up, we thank the eldest grandfather, the son. As Wabanagi, we call ourselves, we're part of the Wabanagi Confederacy. We are connected to that first light that comes up in the east. We do ceremony thanking that light. And that light gives this warmth to the earth. And in science, this is the only part of science that I'll be speaking about. But the science of this whole process of giving life through sun, through water, through the vegetation, through food, through medicines. That's all a part of science that keeps us alive, that keeps us going, that keeps us as human beings still walking upright. So when we look up in the morning and give thanks, we thank that sun, we thank our grandmother, the moon, we thank Father, the sky, and all our sisters and brothers, the stars. That's what we're thankful for. And that's who we are, Wabanagi. And now I will speak on this past summer. The MP Romeo Seganaz came to visit us in our territory. He brought forth a bill, Bill 262, and I hope you're all familiar with that bill that he put forward. And this bill is asking all elected representatives to approve the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. May I remind you, when the opposition was in, it was the Liberal Party who put forward the same bill. The same exact bill. Now they're in power, and now it's in question. It's too difficult to work. It's too difficult to put into or through the Constitution as law. So is a human right too hard? It's our human right as human beings to heart. But I commend Romeo for putting this bill forward, and I recommend that you, as the Senate, go back and pressure the present government to please sign that bill. Give us the human right as human beings that we can live, nation to nation. And may I remind you that I was present this spring on May 10th, 2016, at the 15th session of the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues in New York City. I was sitting a little back from Minister Carolyn Bennett when she received a standing ovation. And I'm neither a pessimist or an optimist. I'm a realist. So I didn't stand up because to me, words mean nothing. Words mean nothing to me. Actions. So she read this marvelous, uplifting speech how Canada will support and to honor without qualifications. And qualifications mean without qualifications. So qualifications means requirements, conditions, limitations, modifications, tampering. So this document that Canada approved was without qualification. But here we are today, still pushing for Canada to sign on and to respect the UNDRIP document. And may I share a few quotations that Minister Bennett put forward within her speech. No one left behind was she kind of yelled that out after she talked about how they're going to pursue this. And the Prime Minister wrote to every minister and indicated in their mandate letters, and I quote, "No relationship is more important to me and to Canada than the one with Indigenous peoples. It is time for a renewed relationship with Indigenous peoples based on reconciliation of rights, respect, cooperation, and partnership." And as the Senate, I hope you know this too, there's over 160 boiling water conditions in First Nation communities, even still today, a year after the Liberal Party got in. Still, there's one community, they've been boiling water for over 19 freaking years, and I'll watch my language. 19 years. Could you imagine? Could you imagine having to boil your water for 19 years? And I'm just going to read a few more of what Mrs. Bennett had said. "We intend nothing less than to adopt and implement the Declaration in accordance with the Canadian Constitution. By adopting and implementing the Declaration, we are excited that we are breathing life into Section 35 and recognizing it now as a full box of rights for Indigenous peoples in Canada. Canada believes that our constitutional obligations serve to fully fulfill all the principles of the Declaration, including free, prior, and informed consent. So what Patrick Lacroix is here for is to promote the pipeline. But according to this document, and according to this section of the UNDRIP, we need to have free, prior, and informed consent before anything moves forward. And this is not with our colonized brothers and sisters who own consultation or consultant firms through our lands, because we know who they are. We have the Phil Fontaines, we have the Roger Augustines, we have the Dave Pauls. We know who they are, and that's who government will talk to, is them, because it's in it for them.